Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 7 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR and AR. And I'm very much looking forward to today's episode because we have him back. Matteo 311 is back. How are you doing, Matteo?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, I can't wait to find out about your thoughts about the portal. I think everyone is excited about it. Yeah, right. Also, of course, here with us, Tetiana from Disco VR. Tetiana, how are you today?
I'm doing very good, Sebastian. Very exciting topics today. Looking forward to discussing them with both of you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Also with me, Sebastian Ang, founder of MRTV and the host of this podcast. For all of you who have never heard about this podcast live streams every Saturday at 9 p.m. Berlin, 8 p.m. London, noon in San Francisco, and 3 p.m. in New York City. And you can also listen to it as an audio podcast on Spotify, Google, Alexa, everywhere where you can find podcasts. And well, we would be super happy if you would give this a 5-star review. This would help more people find this podcast. So get out your iPhone or your iPad now, open the podcast app, and give us a 5-star review. That would be amazing. All right, today we have some topics that we have to talk about, that we want to talk about. Among Us is out there, and I've seen quite a few very cool videos, also from Matteo and Tetiana. So looking forward to find out what your thoughts about the game are. Then we're going to talk about Meta. And well, they have laid off like 11,000 of their workforce, and quite a few from AR and VR are affected. So let's think about what it means, and is it a smart move, or what does it mean? Also, well, Apple is going to get into this whole game. We will talk about Apple a lot in the future, and according to reports from insiders in Taiwan, where they go to manufacture the Apple headset, this is going to mass produce in March of next year. So let's think about this. And then our main topic, of course, the Pimax Frontier event. We have learned about a new headset. I don't know. It's a Transformers headset. It can do lots of different things. It's a portable. It is a VR headset. It is a set-top box. And I don't know what else it could do. Probably it can host a podcast too. I don't know. We'll find. We have to think more about this device. That's going to be fun. So lots of exciting things to talk about. First of all, Matteo, how was your week? What did you do?
Good. I mean, typical. There was some Among Us going down this week. Actually, I was in a group with Tetiana, but we got separated. Pity. But yeah, so Among Us, some discussions about Pimax, of course. But the typical, nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Twitter's been the craziest thing lately.
Twitter? Why Twitter?
Twitter's a madhouse.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm on Twitter too, but because of the blue, how is it called, the check marks? Now many people have them, or what?
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ was verified, and we were having a very nice conversation.
Everybody gets verified.
I'm pretty sure a verified Nintendo account had Mario flipping the bird at everybody.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit strange. I agree. That's a bit funny,
They
right?
shut down the verified. I was going to get a Zuckerberg account, but they shut them down now.
Wow. So you cannot buy it for $8 anymore?
I heard they stopped it. I don't know.
Oh, wow. It's
getting
strange,
out of hand.
Right?
It's totally
beyond out of hand.
But it was so predictable.
Yeah.
Like on day one when it was announced, I'm like, are you freaking kidding us? Like this.
Are you telling me? Yeah, $8. I can impersonate anyone.
Yeah.
That is gold to every troll.
You guys are right. You guys are right.
It's fun to watch, though. It's never been so fun on Twitter. Ever as it is now.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, right? So it was so hard to get this, and once you got it, probably the people were happy that they got it, but now it's worth nothing, right? Basically, if anybody can just buy it. Yeah. Anyways, let's see where this goes. This whole Twitter thing.
Well,
actually, I enjoyed Twitter. Right? You guys enjoyed too, right?
Fight for the ability to edit their tweets. At least that's what they say. Like, oh, I don't care about being verified. I just want to be able to edit my tweets and having the little check mark. It's just a nice vanity bonus, which
Of
I
course.
understand.
I
But
it makes sense. I
Yeah.
would have
yeah,
wanted it as well, of course, right? That's
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we want to stay on this topic, but there's a lot that can be said. We don't want to
yeah.
edit tweets. And if they're gonna, reinvent or add new features, sure, I guess they need new money. Really it comes down to Elon's broke with this. He's over leveraged. He needs money.
Yeah.
His loans are more than the company makes. That's why they're trying to generate more cash, and a lot of investors have pulled out. But I would love to see new features, and I would even pay because I like that
Mhm.
social platform. But different, different
Yeah.
story of where it's headed, what's going on, all that.
Yeah, it just seems to be too fast to implement those things. It seems like, okay, like a snap decision, right? Like, okay, Elon is here, okay, I'm the guy now and I
Right.
make it. Okay, now we make it. And yeah, it was probably simply too fast. Anyways, this is an exciting topic, but let's talk about VR. So, Tetiana, what did you do? How was your week like?
well, I also played Among Us with a bunch of people. So I think I overall had 3 sessions. One with Matteo and other great creators, but that time was separated into 2 different groups. So unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
Matteo and I didn't get to play in the same one. But then there was a different group of people with whom I played. So other very awesome VR content creators, and I've literally just jumped out of the session of Among Us with a third group of VR content creators, many of
Wow.
which, actually almost all of them, are SideQuest sidekicks.
Okay.
So the verified
Well,
reviewers on SideQuest, the program that I'm running with, where all we invited a selected group of content creators who we verified as trusted reviewers who review VR games. We kind of just
okay.
organized a get together,
Yeah.
and we
Thank
had a
you for not
nice.
asking me.
we
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can
Okay.
talk
No
about
problem.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's also it's a nice kind of um some of them are bigger, but many of them are also smaller creators who get a great
Ah.
advantage of being verified on SideQuest. So it was a very
Do
fun
they get a blue
gameplay
check mark?
session. they did get a check mark on SideQuest.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
their own one.
not bad. Not bad.
And yeah, so I had to they're still playing. Probably some of them are streaming. I know VR with Jasmine is streaming, so it's kind of like a nice social thing. But another VR related thing that I did was that I found out, thanks to a friend of mine who shared a news on my Discord, that there is a way to set up a full body tracking in VR without any additional hardware and using
Oh,
only your iPhone.
I've seen it. It looks amazing. It's crazy.
And I thought this is incredible because these trackers, they're really expensive. The best ones from HTC Vive, they're over $100 worth each, and you need more than one to have like a full body tracking that's high quality. And of course, I thought I would try it, and it works. Like, it
That-
literally works. It's
Yeah.
not perfect.
Okay.
It's
But
not like really good.
how do you connect your iPhone to your VR headset?
So there are some developers from China who created this method. So there is
Uh-huh.
basically like a little, like very small software on your PC that installs a plugin on Steam VR that creates virtual trackers. I think it creates 8 virtual trackers
Okay.
on Steam VR. So you literally can see them connected there. And then the app on your iPhone is connected to your PC. Like, they have to be on the same Wi-Fi. So you put in the local IP address there to connect them. And
Okay.
it sends the information from your movements to those virtual trackers, and an app that supports full body tracking recognizes it. I tested it so far with only VR chat, and it works.
Wow, that's amazing. How expensive is
I know. So it's free,
it?
Oh, the perfect
Oh,
price.
that is the price they
but
will like. Okay.
but it has ads, and
It's okay.
it means that every no, it's not,
Oh, it's not okay.
because
Oh,
every 10
minutes you have to go to your
every 10
phone.
minutes like an ad
Okay.
starts playing, you need to manually click on it, and
Okay.
to remove all ads, $20. But compare
Okay.
like $20
I,
to
I think $20 is
130.
acceptable. If it works,
Yeah.
fine. If it
It
works, fine.
works. They need to improve it. It's not
Okay.
ideal. There are definitely lots of like bugs that you need to set up. Like, when you calibrate it, sometimes these dots, like these trackers, they don't fit your avatar's body correctly, and then it's
Okay.
not an accurate tracking. But like, it's the first time in my life that I saw that you can like track your body without any hardware, and just the fact that it already exists means it's going to be getting better. Maybe someone else will come up with a better version of that. You know how it
Yeah,
goes. So
it's
I'm
I
super
love
excited. So
technology.
I made a video about that on my channel. I actually posted it today. Yeah, so that's what I did. But I also want to do a recap of all the craziness and madness that Pimax has announced, and it's exciting to talk about it today as well.
Nice, nice. Yeah, cool, perfect. So yeah, my week, I was what did I do? Yeah, Pimax Portal. That happened. Yeah, so actually I was in my caravan for a couple of days to relax, but then this thing, the Pimax Frontier event happened, and I live streamed it with like 2 FPS out of my caravan, but I still wanted to get my live reaction somehow onto the airwaves, so I did that, and I had a fantastic hour. It was such a great show. I had so much fun with that show. It was so entertaining, and yeah, Pimax never ceases to entertain us. At least for these shows, this is great. I hope to try the hardware, and it is going to happen. But these shows are truly one of a kind. Yeah, forget all the rest. Forget the meta shows. Forget the Pico shows. Forget everything. Pimax is where it's at when it comes to entertaining shows. That was truly over the top. Yeah, the
Mhm.
next day I made like another video where I simply cut the main presentation into like 15 minutes, like all the fluff out there, and then the presentation was way better in my opinion when I did it. When I was giving that presentation, and yeah, you should watch it if you want to see just the facts, just the data out of this presentation, because there was a lot of fluff and crazy marketing talk that was not needed in my opinion, and that was kind of made it like too over. We'll talk about this in detail. Yep. Other than that, I talked about prescription lenses for the Pico 4. Yep, you should get them. It's much better, obviously, to have those prescription inserts for all the headsets. I posted a Pico 4 through the lens video and simply showed how good it looks. It looks fantastic. And next week, there's going to be a side by side comparison with the Quest Pro, which also looks really good. So that's going to be interesting. And other than that, I think that's it. It was more like a calmer week. Exactly. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
actually it. And now I'm super much looking forward to talk with you about all the different topics. And yeah, let's start with Among Us. So I have unfortunately not yet played it. I bought the game actually, but I have not yet played it. But I will play it because everyone seems to have lots of fun with it. Let me just share a video here, Tetiana's video. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what you did there.
Oh God.
And yeah, please tell us about the game, Tetiana. What is it about, and how is the VR version? So the 2D version of Among Us has been out for quite a while. It's a multiplayer game where you play with your friends or with other people, and you are on a spaceship, right? And you have to do some basic tasks to keep the spaceship running. But there's
Mhm.
one guy is there, the imposter, I think he's called, right? And he or
Mhm.
she is like what is it? Like a killer or what?
Sabotaging
Sabotage.
things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Tatiana, tell us more about it. What is the gameplay like?
Yeah, I can start. I guess it's a really similar interpretation of this game in VR than it is to a flat screen version. I don't know if you've played
The
that.
same. I have not known.
The fun thing is if there are 8 or more players and there are 2 imposters, and they can sabotage things on the map, or they can kill off other players. There are some
Okay.
really interesting mechanics on there, because when you find a body on the ship, then you can report it. And then you all go to the main room and start yelling at each other, accusing each other, and eventually vote someone out. The fun thing is
Ah.
that the imposter can report the body as well. So he can literally kill someone and then report him and pretend that he's just found them. So there's a lot of yeah, a lot of lying going around in this game, a lot of yelling. It's very interesting to make content on it because it's just so loud and messy. It's
It looks
definitely
so funny
fun
though.
to play it. Yeah, so
I think
there are
especially
some.
if you know the people, right? If you know, okay, I just see there Nati and Tariel and right? It's like so funny.
Yeah, it was a full house of like creators who completely ruined their friendships. So it is kind of a game that you definitely have more fun playing with people you know.
Of
I
course.
I think that I think the main limitation of this game is you have to have a pretty large group of people to have fun. And if you don't, then you might just want to get matched up with randoms. And then if there are little kids who are just screaming at your face, it might be not as fun. I haven't
Yeah.
tried playing with
Oops.
randoms yet. I don't know if, Matteo, if you tried or not, but I've only played with people that I knew or sort of knew from the VR community, of course. So we all had a very good time and kind of tested our limits on how good someone is, how good of a liar someone is. And I turned out to be a pretty bad one, but still managed to kind of wiggle my
what
way
do
through
you
a couple of
what do you
games.
have to lie about? So okay, you're the imposter. Obviously, you will
Yeah.
tell people, "Hey, I don't know, I found this body, and what's going on?"
Well,
Or
for
what else?
example, yeah. So there are tasks, right? Every crew member has a task on the ship. So you're pressing some buttons, pulling levers. When you do it, then the progress bar is filling up, and when it's filled up, then you won. Crewmates won. Imposters can lie about
Okay,
completing tasks. So they can say, oh, I've just finished this task, but in reality, they didn't do anything. They're just standing there. So
okay.
sometimes people would just follow each other around and say, I want to watch you do a task. So do it.
That is
So
funny though.
it's hilarious. We should definitely play sometime, Sebastian. I think
Yeah,
you would
Yeah.
be a
okay. I
pretty
really
good
want to try
imposter.
this too. Okay.
I mean, it's a constant paranoia and like not trusting anyone and looking over your back and just deception. Just trying to
Okay.
when you're the imposter, like no one trusts anyone. So
Right.
you're next to someone you've been friends with forever, and it's like, hey, let's go do our task together. You watch my back. It's like,
Yeah.
do you have an ulterior motive?
And then
Or am I saying sure because I'm the imposter?
Okay.
Like, so
and I
it
want
makes
to
you
lure
question
you to a
everything.
room.
Okay. Okay.
And
And how
some of
can
them,
how can you kill the others? What kind of weapon do you have?
I mean, it's just a trigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the things you do with a trigger. So some of the imposters are really sneaky. Like Bearda Benjo was one of the sneakiest one I saw because he would hang out with me as an imposter the entire game, gaining my trust. So every time I would
No
be
kidding,
like,
really.
I was with Beardo and he didn't kill me. That's not him. And he just didn't kill me
You end up
because,
defending him.
he wanted me to cover for him, which I did,
Wow.
and he
That is
won.
a smart
Yeah,
move though.
Yeah.
it
Okay.
is.
There's a lot of strategy to it. And I was playing with Reese, and he ended up being the imposter 3 times back to back. And
Okay.
I kept saying, guys, if I disappear, Reese is the imposter. And finally, someone's like, listen, Matt's last words were,
So he's not only the king, he's also the imposter.
yeah, 3 times in a row.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. Okay. So is it? So I suppose it must be more fun playing as the imposter. That's my guess right now, right? Or what are your thoughts? If you're not the imposter, is it still fun?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still fun because you get into these like wild conversations and speculation. And sometimes you've seen someone get murdered right in front of your face.
Okay.
And you're just
Okay.
like, guys,
Right, I've
I
seen
watched
it.
Reese kill him. I watched
But
it,
nobody
and no one
believes you
believes you.
anyway.
What? Okay. Okay. I get the dynamics. That sounds pretty amazing, though.
So you're like, I swear I
Yeah.
wouldn't lie to you. And they're like, Matt would lie. He would totally lie. He's a liar. I'm like, ah. So, but yeah, it really is much better with people you know, especially like you could sometimes hear things in their voice or they're acting different or just
Yeah.
because you know them, it's more fun. But yeah, I did play with randoms because I was in the beta sessions. So I was in like 3 beta sessions before
Okay.
release.
hmm
And I did get screaming kids. And I did get like a much less fun experience occasionally. One thing that was driving me nuts is like someone would be the imposter or be a crewman, get killed right away or get caught right away, and then log off. And they
Okay.
happen to
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
host,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
everyone has
That
to
sucks.
reconnect.
Hmm.
Of
That was a
course.
little frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really more fun playing with this with your friends or
Yeah,
people you know,
to play
right?
with your friends type of game.
So thanks so much, Roar McRib Helmet, for your super chat. And is there a voice chat during the tasks or only during
Yes.
emergency meetings? Oh, the whole time.
All the time.
The whole
It's
time.
proximity.
Except when you're killed, then you can't. Then you're a ghost, and you can still walk
Only talk to
around and
ghosts.
hear everybody, and you can see other ghosts, but they can't see you because you're already dead. But there is a proximity kind of a effect that if you're in the same room, you can hear them, and if someone's on the other side, then you can't. So, when I was an imposter, that I never really talked with them. With who the second imposter is, but we were so scared of being found that we would never like exchange a word to each other. I
Okay,
think
wait.
only
So there
Jay
can
Brett,
be 2 imposters.
if
If there's
more
8
than
people
8,
playing.
Ah,
Yes.
If there's
okay.
8 to
there's
10
2
people, you have 2
imposters.
imposters.
Okay, but
Yeah.
if you're an imposter, you don't know who the other imposter is, or do you know that?
You
What?
do.
You
You
do.
can see their name in
Ah.
red instead of white.
Yeah.
So there was this one room
that is
that
fun. So they can work
I-
together.
So that was actually Beardo, and Jay Bratt and I were the imposters, and we entered in the same room, and Beardo thought that he was safe because there are 3 people there.
Okay.
Yep.
And Jay Bratt's like, should we do this? I'm like, yeah, and I killed him. It was really brutal because he didn't expect that both imposters would be in the same room with him. Yeah. So
Okay.
it was
Okay, that
it's pretty
sounds
brutal.
that sounds
Yeah, and you can
great.
cover for each other, or
Right.
even like, be like, just say, no, it was him. So they're like, well, Matt said it was him, so we can trust Matt.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's tons of different tactics of lying. That's what it's really all about, just deceit.
Okay. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. PD, hi, Paradise Decay. Thanks for the super chat. And I totally did not track anyone. PD.
Oh my God, he got us the first round. He played blind. The first round, he's like, well, you guys know I'm legally blind right now. I got eye surgery. I can't see. We're like, PD, you're red. I'm red. My character's red. What? He ends up killing everybody the first round.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I'm like,
got
I'm not
it.
listening to you ever again.
Exciting game. It sounds great. Matteo, did you play it in 2D before?
A tiny bit.
Okay,
It's
but
not,
not really.
it's not my typical style of game, but I played it a tiny bit, just to see what the whole story was.
Right. And I suppose the VR version is better.
It's creepier.
It's
Okay.
definitely creepier. It's definitely more paranoia inducing for sure, because it'll take your focus. The test is simple, but designed to keep your focus just locked on something for 10 seconds.
Okay.
So you really want to look behind you, but then you might have to restart the task depending on what task it is. It's really just anything to get your focus away from your environment for 10, 15,
Right.
20 seconds.
Okay.
And so I was doing one, and I'm sitting there, and it's one with Simon Says, or in the game Simon beep boop boop, and I'm doing that, and I know it's coming. I'm like, yep, I can smell it. Come on, just kill me, get it over with. I could just feel it coming.
Oh my goodness. It looks actually super fun. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we can buy this now for I believe $10.
Yep.
Yeah, $10, right? On the
Mhm.
Quest store, but also on Steam VR, you can also get it. So you can basically play it on lots of headsets, and there should be crossplay too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how do you find your friends? Is it like a room numbers, or how do they do
Yeah,
it?
room
Just
code.
the room
and
code.
There's quick matches.
Oh, I
if
like it.
that.
I like that you can play cross cross devices. Very nice. Good idea. Cool.
Definitely recommend to try it. I think
Yeah,
you'll have a
I
lot
will
of
do it.
fun.
For sure. I will for sure do it. So, yeah, another great game to play with your friends. And probably it's not so complicated, right? It's not like you need a lot of time to get into it. You just do it.
There's a super short tutorial, but some people jump in even without doing any tutorial, just because most of the actions you do with just one trigger.
Right.
So
Right.
it's super easy to get into.
Okay.
It's the lying part that some people
Uh-huh.
have trouble
And
with or
That's
are
what
too
takes
good
more
at.
practice.
And if you if you find a body and need to arrange for that meeting, how would you do that? How would
One
you
click.
call one click?
So you could either click on the body and report it, or you can go to the cafeteria, and there's a thing to slap.
There's a button, yeah.
Yeah.
You can even press. You can even call the emergency meeting even if nobody was killed. You just have a very strong
Okay.
suspicion about something.
But then
and
if you call it in, everybody has to go to the meeting room, or somebody can,
Yeah.
everybody has to
You get
go?
pulled there
Everybody's
automatically.
You
spawned.
get pulled there. Perfect. That's better. Nice. Well, it sounds like super fun actually to play this with people that you know, right? And then you
And
can get to
what
know them how they really are, like PD we know now. what he's like?
That's awesome.
What I like about it is the games are really short too.
Okay, how long is
Even
it?
like when it kind of depends on how quickly they get found, but I've never played a game that was longer than, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
I
Yeah,
agree
The
with
that's
that.
longest
good. That
one.
is good. That is good. Nice, nice,
So you can play
cool.
several games, so it doesn't feel like it's dragging out.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're done. You're like, I want to get another one. I want to get back to them. So it's addicting.
Wow. Okay, absolutely. I will play that. Yep. Okay, cool. They're very nice. It's available right now. So if you're looking for a nice multiplayer game and yeah, you have a group of friends or you are on some Discord server where you have some people, yeah, it seems like it's a must-play game, right? So I'm looking forward actually to try that out with you, probably it's with you guys. So
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
know
I'd be
when?
happy
Do you
to.
know when is your next big round, or are you finished now with
We
it?
can just put together one. I mean, I
You're right.
played today, but I didn't have enough time to like set up the live stream, sadly.
Okay.
But yeah, I like playing this game. So I jump on every opportunity whenever someone's
Okay.
inviting me. I'm like, yes,
Yeah. Okay.
because it's hard sometimes to find a large group of people. So if you get
Right.
invited or if you put together a game, then
Makes
it's an
sense.
opportunity to have fun.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. That is Among Us, finally in VR. All right, let's talk about the next topic. And well, that is not so much fun, unfortunately. That is Meta laying off 11,000 employees, and VR and AR teams are affected. Now, 11,000 employees, that is, wow, that is a lot. I mean, Meta has obviously so many employees, but laying off 11,000, that is quite a very high number. And that's interesting to see because when the whole COVID started, actually they were like hiring lots of people. They tried to grow extremely fast, and now it seems like they also have seen that it doesn't work like this. And of course also the investors and the stakeholders were breathing down Mark Zuckerberg's neck, right? Then the numbers are not good. They are burning money with this whole crazy VR VR thing that we love so much,
Mhm.
and that's Meta is burning so much money on. So now they seem to have to make everything slimmer. So, what are your thoughts on this, Matteo? Do you think it's the right move now to get like more leaner to keep on pushing VR, but not like with these huge numbers of people,
Well,
or is
I don't
Meta
I
going
don't think they
down?
had
What
a
is your
choice.
what are your thoughts?
I don't think they had a choice here. I think,
Mhm.
they're just doing some math and had to make some decisions.
Okay.
The pretty much the whole world is headed towards a recession, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
Tech is getting hit hard right now. A lot of companies in tech are getting hit hard right now. Like you said, stockholders are breathing down their neck. And like that's one thing. Like they didn't do a great job of preparing people for how long this would take to
Mhm.
get to that $1 trillion metaverse. I think like everyone kind of got hooked in at first. The presentation last year, like, oh my god, this was amazing. Look at all this amazing stuff. And then when they kind of hear, oh, it's going to be 10 years for a return. Meanwhile, everything's slowly declining. People are like, no, 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 shift gears, do something. You need more immediate profit.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
So
sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, how much do we know about their overall internal workings? We can say though that like prior to this, they hired more people than they fired. So they're kind of
Okay.
net positive. But this whole metaverse thing is crazy. Like when they get to the point, like they're talking about, they're gonna be end up spending more money than like America did for the entire Apollo missions to get to the moon. And that's not an exaggeration. That's like nothing else. No other piece of tech has ever like just burned money like this. And that's why people are skeptical. They're like, maybe you can't just, maybe money can't produce something or buy everything. Maybe we won't get there, or maybe we're
Yeah.
not ready. Like, look at Google Glass. Like, Google was ahead of
Yeah.
their time. They tried to
True.
do it. That was never going to work. They realized that.
Right, right. So that's interesting. So, in your opinion, Matteo, do you think that Mark Zuckerberg is still on the right path with his bold, move to make his whole company about the metaverse?
It's tough to say because a lot of people still don't buy into it. And when like they want to be the next Apple, they want to have the next iPhone, the next computing device. The
Right.
problem is
They missed
Apple
phones.
fundamentally approached this differently. They used the proceeds from the original iPhone to fund the better next iPhone. And they were doing that over and over again. And Meta did not do this. They said, well, we believe in VR so much. We just got to get people to believe in it. Let's subsidize. They did the opposite and took a hit on every product sold. And they got people into it. The problem is a lot of Quest 2s are now in people's closets just collecting dust. And they're trying to figure out how to solve that problem. It's like, well, okay, well, VR is the future. VR is amazing. Well, we got to figure out more ways to get people in VR. But this Quest Pro is a setback for them because it's not really a defined product. Like when you look at Apple, they say, hey, listen, we have the iPhone, whatever coming out. Now we're at the point where the iPhones are boring. They barely introduce features and stuff like that, but it's still enough to generate hype, get people excited, produce a product that the average person wants.
Yeah.
Okay. So they hype it up. They give you the product, you buy it. You couldn't hype this thing up. You can't, like, who's it for? And then look at the price tag. So the people who are invested in Meta, want to return, they want to see their stock price go up and stuff like that. They're like, what did you release? What is this? What even is this? And it's not a marketable product, or at least it wasn't marketed right. So now it's like, okay, well, that was your big thing. We waited these years. You burned all this money and you give us this product that's for no one. That's the issue. They probably shouldn't have released the product.
For YouTubers, they bought it like I did. Yeah, but I agree with you. It's you're right, especially if you think of it from the viewpoint of a stakeholder, right? You invest lots of money into the stock, and it's just like going down like a stone. It's crazy, right? And I totally understand why those stakeholders write these open letters that ask Mark Zuckerberg to concentrate on the stuff that made money in the first place. Right, like ads, like their revenue model. It worked so well, like so long.
The problem
for them.
is, though, Facebook hit a point where it can't grow anymore. Yeah. Like that happens. It peaked. Facebook peaked. The younger generation was not getting into Facebook, and that's why, like, at one point they're like, "Oh yeah, you have to make a Facebook account for a Quest," because they know gaming, younger people like it. That was one of their reasons. I mean, obviously they want to track you and get statistics on you and all that. But they wanted you to open a Facebook with the hopes that the younger generation would finally get into Facebook. But the younger generation was not buying into Facebook. So Facebook hit its peak. They weren't making as much with ad revenues. The iPhone changes, because iPhone had some changes regarding security and stuff like that. That hit Facebook pretty bad too. So ad revenue, that's it. They were like, okay, well, we know Facebook isn't going to grow. It's not going to continue to keep us money. And businesses need to make more money every year. So they said, okay, well, where should we shift? And Mark Zuckerberg said, all in metaverse. Is it the right call? I can't say. Maybe 10 years from now, we'll be like, yeah, it was the best call ever. But now, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
It's hard to see that future.
What are your thoughts, Tetiana? Do you think it was the right call? And do you think that Mark Zuckerberg can turn this ship around? Like, especially the stocks... the stock price.
Yeah, I agree with Matteo's points. Facebook really just, as a social platform, is just the echo of the past. This is not something, sexy and marketable that young people would jump in and start socializing. So I think they really didn't have the choice but to shift and do something completely dramatic, especially because with Quest 2, they were really ahead of the game in the VR field. The metaverse is
absolutely. That was unbelievable. That was a big win, right? The last 2 years for them with the Quest 2 were huge.
Yeah, and
but
maybe
now,
that gave confidence.
They have a tough year before in front of them, in my opinion.
Even though they were losing money on it, they were gaining this reputation, and people like literally whoever is like following the tech trends and something that's just new and exciting. Everybody knows about VR. The first thing that comes to mind is Quest 2 because it's so affordable. With the Quest Pro, it really is a a strange luxury product that doesn't have a very clear target audience. Like, is it for gamers? Is it for developers? Is it for social life? Is it for all at once? But nothing really, because it's kind of good at many of these things, but not ideal. Like, it doesn't have this clear, target audience. Like, this is a device that's only for developers. Then why can regular people buy it without being associated with the company or something?
Yeah,
If
because
it's just
they hope that people like us buy it as a prosumer, right? I think it is they themselves have basically made it pretty clear that it's not for us, that it's made for those working people, like I know enterprise customers. I think they made this
But
quite clear, right?
I
But
mean,
they
that
hope,
was their messaging.
yeah, that was
But
the
at the same
messaging, right?
time, like I said, it's not a product for sales. It's not a product that's gonna raise their stock price. That's gonna,
Yeah, that's for
give them
sure.
notoriety.
Yeah.
It's not that product. It's a dev kit.
It will probably not sell very well, I think. So I don't know anybody here in Germany that I would know of who bought it. I'm probably the only person.
It was never meant to sell well. It
Ah,
really is, at the end of the day, it is this test kit. It's a dev kit. They want to like see how the market goes in different directions. The
yeah,
only thing is the average person and the market doesn't understand that. Like, they're like, what do you
right.
mean? Like, like, well, no, you're supposed to
Agreed.
make a product and sell millions of it and make money. Duh.
Right.
Like,
Agreed. Yeah,
Mhm.
like the normal person would think like, what? I have the Quest 2 here, and this is not like 4 times better, even though it's 4 times more expensive. That makes sense. But
But then
Matteo,
this
how do
layer.
you? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Tetiana.
Oh yeah, just like a few words about the layoffs that I was
You're
really
right.
kind of shocked when I heard that, because I know people who very recently have been literally harassed by the recruiters from Meta, trying to get them, to interview, to go like maybe on site, to do some kind of test, to get hired
Yeah.
without any time constraints, basically saying, whenever you feel ready, come in. We have jobs, they will be here waiting for you. Even if you're not right for this job, there might be a different department who you might be right for. Like, they will not go
Wow.
anywhere. So they were like, I know
So
that happened.
aggressive.
I know, aggressively just saying that. I don't even know how that kind of works. If you're getting
that's
hired, then these people would get to choose which departments they would want to work for. That
That is
was
kind of
what the
unheard of.
recruiters were saying.
What?
How do you go from this within like 6 months, you go to firing or laying off 11,000 people? How do you
that's
go
corporate
from one to
America.
another?
That's
That's,
crazy though.
that's like a lot of times
Mm.
when things are going down internally, they have to project an image. And they don't let that information out throughout the whole company, even though like probably 6 months ago, people knew they were headed in this direction.
Yeah, they
So
must have known.
that's corporate America. That's how these big entities run. That's just, I've
Okay,
seen it
that
in
is
person. That's just how they run.
that is really crazy, I must say. I'm here from Europe, where we are socialist from the eyes of American, well, lots of Americans. But honestly, it's good to have working rights. I think it's so crazy if I would have just left my good job. Right, I have a good job, and then I leave for Facebook, for Meta, because I think it's a better job. Right, so I left this good job for this new opportunity, and then after 6 months, I'm being laid off, and I have to start from zero. That's so bad.
Yeah.
Right? That's
So
Yeah.
how would
that's so
that
crazy.
so how would that happen in Germany, for example? How,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
that happen there?
Well, we have some rights as a worker, and after you have worked at the company for a certain time, it is not so easy to get laid off. So there's
Mm.
like 3 months, and within the first 3 months, of course, you can get laid off easily. But after that, the company cannot simply lay you off, right? Not so many people at the same time. You have to have like good reasons. For example, if your company is bankrupt, obviously you can lay them off, but you cannot just lay them off so easily.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a different world. It's a different world we're living in.
Mm.
Yeah, but so I believe many people must feel really unhappy now about Meta, especially those 11,000, obviously. But yeah, that's That's sad
Yeah,
for them,
this
of
time the
course.
hate is coming from the inside instead of from the outside as
Yeah,
it usually comes. So it's a very different situation for Meta.
right, right.
I
Interesting.
I,
Yep.
I honestly feel bad for them because it's not a cool position to be in. It definitely sucks to have to let people go. To let a lot of people go because then that the public image that you're failing. So I'm sure Zuckerberg is having a really really rough week.
I'm
It
sure
feels
so.
like
Yeah.
he's able to like everyone who's like forget this metaverse crap. He could block them out,
The
but I think
metaverse
this hit
crap. Yeah.
him.
Okay. Yeah, I think people are not following his vision so much, right? It seems what you hear, even the people in the company, they don't seem to follow this metaverse crap as much as he believes in it, right?
Yeah,
And so yeah, people don't use Horizon, the company in the company as well. We heard that recently as well. So it seems like he's the only one who is like so into his vision, and yeah, it might not play out exactly as he thought. I mean, his presentation in last year's Connect, it was a bit over the top as well. That we do
yeah,
everything in the metaverse. No. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
not
think it
in
is.
the foreseeable future. Like, no, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's really right about the things that he hopes for. Yep. So now he has to reverse lots of stuff, and 11,000 people have just felt it. Most probably, though, these 11,000 people, they are all very well educated, and it's not going to be so tough for them to find another job, I believe. Right. So at
That
least,
must be true, at least.
right.
Yeah, but it doesn't still change the. I don't know. It just must be a very icky situation for them to be laid off among the 11,000
Yeah, of course.
people who
Of
just for
course.
no reason really, like no matter your experience, that must be a big
Must
hit.
suck. Yeah, of course. And the whole next year is going to be tough for Meta until the Quest 3 is out, in my opinion. Like in my opinion, like now, right now, here in Germany, we have no reason to import the Quest 2 anymore because we have the Pico 4 now. Finally, a standalone headset that we can buy here. We couldn't really buy it in the stores here in Germany. So yeah, and also in other parts of the world, people are not going to pick up the Quest Pro because it's too expensive. They'd rather pick up the Pico 4, I believe. So until Meta has the Quest 3, I think it's going to be quite tough for them. What are your thoughts about this, Matteo, for this year until the Quest 3 is out?
So I mean, even without even when the Quest 3 comes out, it might still be a rough year because
Okay.
you got to think,
Okay.
okay, what is Meta going to do? They're going to subsidize another headset. Now, you have people who just recently bought a Quest 2 within the last 2 years. So you kind of exhausted that pool of gamers. They're probably not going to buy a new headset. They might even be insulted by that. Like, really? I have to buy a new headset every 2 years? And then if they don't subsidize, they're going to just keep earning more money, $100 or so lost on every headset. If it's not subsidized, what are we looking at? A $600 headset?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we're looking at then what's that going to do to sales? So
Right.
Meta's not in a fantastic position. And
No.
what's their solution? It's probably, hopefully those 9 studios they own, they'll bang out some really good games. Like really, but again, Meta's end all be all is not gaming VR. And they're going to be up against the PlayStation VR 2 next year.
Oh, yes.
And
I totally
all
forgot
the
about it.
rest,
Exactly.
and all the rest, yeah, like it's such a bad timing for them too, as all
It-
these other companies are cranking up with new headsets. It's just this is the competition we all have been like waiting for. It might be actually happening that Meta is at the weaker spot now that it was a year ago, and other companies will just take advantage of it. We might be talking about completely different headsets a year from now.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. About the Pimax Portal, for example. But there would have been a great segue, but we still have one more topic before we get to the portal. So let's talk about Apple. We don't need to keep this too long, but yeah, we've heard now from DigiTimes, a Taiwanese website, that it's most probably going to start mass production of the Apple XR headsets in the first quarter of 2023. So in the end of the first quarter of 2023, and that would be March. And then, yeah, most probably we can buy it. And it seems like they are producing around 750,000 units of the device, and it's most probably going to cost around $2,000. It's going to be powered by the M2 chipset seen in the latest MacBooks. Yeah. So, Tetiana, what are your thoughts about Apple joining the whole XR game? Do you think
Man.
they're going to make a big impression? What are your thoughts?
Oh, we talked about this probably so many times
Yes, but
before.
we
I
need to
can't
hear it
believe it's
again from
actually
you.
happening. But this is probably going to be a single most exciting event in the VR industry when Apple enters the game, because the hardcore Apple base are pretty much exciting and following everything that Apple does. So when they release a VR headset for the first time, even someone who has never even thought about buying one, they will think about VR maybe for the first time in their lives because Meta stepped in. So now it means something.
Apple.
And we know that with their reputation, they don't. Oh, Apple.
Yeah.
We talked about Meta for too long. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get this out of it now. Apple time.
I need
Apple.
to, yeah, Apple time. So if I want to get a unit, I'm just kidding. Nobody's gonna get a unit. We're all gonna just clean
Gonna
up.
wait
clean
in
up
front
our
of those
bank
Apple
account.
stores. Camp in
Yeah,
front of those Apple stores.
for an opportunity to buy it for $2,000.
Yeah.
Like with the
$2,000
graphics
to
card last year.
$3,000. I was wrong. $2,000 to $3,000.
I was actually thinking 3.
Okay, yeah.
Before you
Probably
said 2, I thought like
probably
it's probably
3.
gonna
Yep.
be
Yeah,
3,000.
3,000. Yeah. I was wrong.
Yeah. So with the reputation that Apple has, that what they do, they just do like so well and so polished and so interconnected with all their products. I can't wait to see how this new headset that they will announce will work with other devices, how this flow is going to come out, and people who already own them. I think they'll be very tempted to invest in that just so that they get to experience this brand new device. Like I'm super excited about how it's gonna look.
Okay.
I'm so sad about my wallet, but can't believe it's actually happening.
Okay, cool. Matteo, what are your thoughts about the device? Are you going to buy it?
To be seen. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm not an Apple fan. I'll put that out there. I haven't been. But like I was getting into earlier, they do know how to market stuff. So
they are probably the
and
best,
they do
honestly
have this
speaking.
fan base that's kind of rabid. Just like they could be like, the Apple can of water only $100, and people are like, I need it.
Yeah.
It's made
Need
by
it.
Apple.
Wow. It's
So
the Apple can.
yeah. So I mean, come on, didn't they sell a stand for like $1,000? I mean, and people bought it. So I think they're in a better position to be able to sell a $2,000 product than
3,000. Yeah.
than like Meta did with the Pro. But at the same time, look at the hardware in there. At least the leaked hardware. You actually have a laptop chip. You have their new processor. You have some stuff. You don't have you have the XR2 in the Quest Pro. You have a $300 hardware in a $1,500 device, which makes it even more, sus, if we'll stick with the whole Among Us theme. But honestly, it's hard to justify that. But when you look at, Apple's product, okay, at least there is some high-end hardware in there pushing this thing. But I don't know, until I see what it's capable of, its functionality, is it actually useful? Why would I consider buying this?
Okay. Yeah. So in my opinion, why Apple fans buy those hardware, these devices for such amounts of money is because Apple delivers. Apple really delivers amazing hardware. So I was on the same spot like Matteo. I never was an Apple fan, and I was always like PC and Android, and I'm still using an Android device. But I must also say that recently I have shifted and I'm now using a MacBook Air for everything I do here on the channel, and I love it. Then I bought an iPad. It's amazing. And I believe I'm also going to buy an iPhone. So actually they have I have to say they kind of won me over, and now I feel like, hey, life is too short not to use an Apple product because it's so much fun. So I really now understand it. I absolutely now understand why Apple fans are Apple fans, and I'm slowly getting into the whole thing. And
It's all
yeah,
about the ecosystem, right?
the
It's all
ecosystem is
about
really
having
good.
this flow,
That's
how
how they
it's all
got you hooked.
seamless.
They they
That's how
they
they get you in.
they
Yeah.
do get me hooked right now. I
Yeah.
must really say it, and I believe that this headset is going to obviously perfectly play in that ecosystem. So probably if I wear it, then suddenly it's gonna play perfectly fine with my MacBook Air, and then I have like three
Yeah.
virtual screens hovering over it without having to do anything, just putting it on. Right? That's how I expect
Yeah.
it now to work. And I do expect them to launch some hardware that is capable, that is amazing. Just remember
Yeah.
there were smartphones before the iPhone, but they were not as good as the iPhone when it came out. Everything worked so nicely, and I believe they're going to do it too. And then everybody's going to say, you know what, Apple invented VR.
But
it
I
could happen. It could happen. Really, I believe it.
but
The
I wonder,
problem.
like, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
for
You
it.
first.
Just a quick note about the competitors and who they're trying to compete with, because if one thing that we know Apple is not doing so well is like gaming aspect of it. Don't
Mhm.
really think they're very strong in the gaming area. So is it actually going to be a competitor to something like Quest, or is it more of like a
No,
professional thing, or just AR capabilities? So purely functional, very practical thing. I really wonder what
I think it's
Yeah.
also going to be
direction they're going.
entertainment. It's going to be watching VR movies, watching VR events, watching huge sports event like
Yeah.
NBA or stuff, right? Because they
So
also,
social things too.
they bought this company that does these live concerts, VR things, and game and the sports things that you
Yeah.
can watch in VR. So they bought that for a reason, right? So I believe this is going to be an amazing device for watching this kind of virtual content. Yeah, your favorite, I don't know, football team, or what you watch in the States, or NBA games, right? And you can simply get the best seat in the stadium. Hello, really, that in Germany, where we love football, right, or soccer, how you call it in the US. Wow, like I would totally be up for it if I can be in the stadium of my favorite football team with this device. Yes, and I think they have the power to make it happen. So I believe it's not going to be like, okay, you can play your Steam VR games. No, absolutely no. They will have their own ecosystem with all those AR games and stuff. It's not going to be the main focus. The main focus is going to be productivity, I think, like these virtual screens, and like looking at exciting sports events, concerts, probably some social stuff where you can have a super VR FaceTime or what. Yeah, I believe it's
Yeah.
going to be exciting. I'll
That,
buy
that
it.
that's
I
exactly
bought the
what I was
Quest
going to
Pro.
say. It's not going to be on the gaming end. Mac has
No.
never been known for gaming. They've never been good for gaming. And then you're hearing some internal discussions that some people at Apple are frustrated that they're not going that route. There's no like Unity's not working for this headset. Unreal's not working for this headset. There's no controllers available. It's all hand tracking. That's all the rumors, the internal rumors that we're hearing now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. Like some people are looking at VR the way it is now, and they're like, no, this doesn't line up with that, and that could limit this product. But they might go in a completely different direction and might find more success.
Well,
Right.
I hope they will, because we can't deny that gaming industry is still the moving power behind VR right now. People don't buy VR headsets for productivity. People don't buy them to watch 360 videos or movies. So it has to
Some
be a really
do
strong,
for watching movies.
not for $3,000. It has to be a very
Yes,
strong
right.
use case for them to get a headset like that will not
Not
be a
for
gaming
$3,000.
headset,
Agreed.
convincing enough, more convincing than the Meta that will be, it's half the price if you think about it. $1,500,
Yeah.
people are freaking out thinking that it's not a gaming headset. So
Nobody will freak out about a $2,500 Apple headset. They will think it's so free. it's yeah, but you know what? Apple would not have launched a Quest Pro with those flaws, right? The pass through is not good enough. Like Apple would not have done it. Like I'm sure that the pass through of the Apple headset is going to be like out of this world. Yeah, I
The
believe.
Yeah.
Quest Pro is Meta trying to figure out the industry.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's something they don't like to talk about, but a lot of people don't use their Quest 2s much. You know, a lot of
Okay.
people use it 2 hours a week. Another whole group of people bought it, used it a lot the first 2-3 months, then put it in their closet, and they never take it down unless a huge game releases. What does that happen once a year? So you know, like how often you use the Quest 2 is very low, and they've been trying, you know, to make it more sticky. And they, again, like I said, they want to move beyond just gaming. So this Quest Pro was the device to trying to figure out, well, where else can we use it? But I don't think they made a good use case for anything. Like it's slightly better at gaming, okay, but you could do that with the $300-400 now product. So you know, it's I don't think it's good enough for productivity. Like its connection with the PC is meh. It's not. A lot of people have comfort issues with it. I don't think it's, you know, super comfortable to work in all day. So I you know, again, it's a dev kit to try and bolster interest in different use cases. But yeah, it's not a product for sale. Apple, I think, will at least be more of a, you know, usable product.
Well, they will make a better use case of it. Again, going back to this whole ecosystem, I'm sure that whatever presentation they will prepare, they will use everything they've got, their you know, iPhones, iPads, everything, how it's going to work seamlessly and perfectly, making everybody want to have one and thinking that they will never be more productive than they will be if they buy the Apple headset. So it's going to be their strong point, something that Meta doesn't have. You know, the keyboard connection that they promote kind of for collaboration, it's all depending on third-party keyboards or some apps that were developed by, I don't know, just in the collaboration. If they own their own hardware, they can do whatever they want. It's their own world, their own, you know, metaverse, if you will. So they might have more power there.
Yep. So we will talk a lot about Apple next year. So probably in March we're going to get it. We'll see. And also the PlayStation VR 2. So yeah, next year
Oh,
is going to
man.
be very, very exciting. Anyways, now it's time to talk about Pimax. So Pimax had their Frontier event where they talk about new products. Last year at their the Pimax event, at the Pimax Frontier event, they told us about the Pimax 12K QLED that unfortunately nobody has seen until now. And now in this new Pimax Frontier event, they have introduced a whole new product. And I can just tell you, if you want some entertainment, watch that Pimax Frontier event. Like I had one of the best hours I had in a long time, and I was so happy that I live streamed that in my reactions because
I was
my
so sad I didn't.
my mind
So
was
sad I didn't.
blown. My mind was honestly blown away. I couldn't believe what's happening there in this presentation, and it kept coming. You know, it was not just one thing. No, and then wow, the Portal XL that you can make it bigger, and it's like a Transformers kind of thing. But let me slowly get to it for all the people who don't know what this is all about. Okay, and let me also give you some pictures so that you can imagine what it is. So here's the Road to VR article. Pimax Portal is a hybrid VR headset with a Nintendo Switch style handheld at its core. So Pimax is introducing a handheld, a gaming handheld, something very comparable with the Switch or with a
Okay.
Steam Deck, but it's Android based. So with this device, you will be able to play all the Android games, which in my opinion is good because there are actually good ones there, and they also have all of these streaming services, right? So I can play Xbox Game Pass, I can stream my Xbox locally, I can play my PlayStation 5 on this, which I think is great, or GeForce and all this stuff. And that is kind of interesting in my opinion. And this has a very it has a very high resolution, 4K resolution, and well, the Steam Deck has 720p. So basically what they're doing, they're using quite a lot of their VR components. So this here is actually the screen, one display of these headsets, right? Of the Pimax, probably Crystal or the 12K QLED. So this is interesting. Now, what is even more interesting, this device has 5 cameras at the back, at the edges, and one kind of pass-through camera. And with this, it can track itself. So, well, you have the position of the device in space. So probably this could be used in some AR games or whatsoever. But this is not the main thing. The main thing is that this is kind of a transformable console that you can put it into some kind of viewer, some kind of headset viewer, and it becomes a VR headset. This is something that we've seen before from the Samsung Gear VR a couple of years ago and Google Daydream, where you could put your Pixel headset into this kind of viewer, and it basically looked exactly the same, like this one here. Exactly the same. And then you had a VR headset, but now they kind of bring this into 2022 with the current technology, because Samsung Gear VR and Google Daydream, they were 3 degrees of freedom. So you didn't have this 6 degrees of freedom, and with this kind of technology, you have like a 6 DOF device, like the Quest 2. So the controllers, this kind of switch-like controllers that are magnetically connected to the console, they would go into some kind of VR controllers, and those VR controllers have infrared lights, and those infrared lights get picked up by the 4 cameras of the console, and it does make it basically into a Quest 2, right? Into a new kind of Quest 2. And the viewer has a battery in the back. So I think this is well done. It's a good idea, basically. But that's not all. That is not all. So you can do much more with that. Also, for the gaming mode, they offer, or they want to offer, a little PC, or I don't know how I would describe this thing, a little box that has an AMD processor and that can do some kind of split processing to allow you to play better games on that device. Also, they have a bigger version of this console, which is called Portal XL, I believe. And then you would stick the smaller display into a bigger one, and then you have a bigger screen. yeah it's getting crazy. But that's not all. That is not all yet, because there's also like a dock, and you can put the console into this dock, so then it becomes a set-top box where you can play these Android games on the big screen, and you with up to 6 people you could play it. But that's not all, because the 4 cameras are then pointing at the play space, and then it becomes a Kinect. Can you remember the Xbox Kinect? It also had this technology that would scan the room for you and find you, and then you could do some kind of full body tracking games. So that is also what the device is able to do, it seems. And that all for a price of $299 starting for the console only. That's 128 gigabyte. And for 256 gigabyte, they want like $100 more. And then if you want also the viewer, this kind of VR viewer, another $50. So you reach $450 if you want to go for this whole system. That is quite a good price. However, now the interesting part is that all is a Kickstarter, a Pimax Kickstarter. Woohoo! Questionable decision here by Pimax to go for another Kickstarter. And now I have described this for quite a while, and I know I can see Matteo. He's like, he really wants to comment on it.
I'm dying inside.
Okay, you're dying to comment on it. Matteo, go for it. What are your thoughts about it?
All right. So let's start from here. If this was Valve, Apple, or even Meta, it came out with this, I would still be calling BS. The fact that it's Pimax, I'm like, come on. Like, all right, the concept is very cool, but like so many other uh, tech products out there, where they just give you lots of CG and lots of cool ideas, and no real like tech behind it or numbers or anything except for a pretty crazy price tag, which I think is just more hype building. It's just really, really hard to believe. I mean, honestly, there's so much to unpack here. You just gave us the gist of it. I thought at the end you would say it also does the dishes, but I mean, like, it, it's like it's just crazy. And we've all been saying the same thing about Pimax for years. It's like, listen, they do some pretty wild stuff. Some of it they pull off. Some of it's pretty crazy and amazing, like this super huge FOV and stuff like that. But stop jumping from product to product. Focus in on what you've done. Make sure you actually get it right. And like they never get anything right and then just move on to the next product at the expense of their consumers. And I think the main reason for that is because they need to be putting that hook out there. They need the hype so they could just keep pulling more people in. I think they're now in the business of selling hype. And I think maybe they will pull off some of this stuff. I think sure they'll come out with the handheld, and they'll be like, yeah, the handheld's out, and you're like, oh, people are like, great, yeah. Oh, sorry, we couldn't do it at 300, but it's 500. It's still great. Handheld is really cool. It'll probably have a couple things that don't work right, some weird bugs, whatever. It could be whatever. Maybe it's a good product, but it's like, oh well, when do I get my headset piece to it? Oh yeah, that's coming soon, and that'll be another year. And then it's like, all right, well, now it's already like a super old headset. And when they probably pull that off, it'll probably have major issues. Could you imagine Google Cardboard today? Like, how is this thing going to be comfortable? They compared it to a Steam Deck. They compared it to a Switch. Could you imagine putting a Switch or even a Steam Deck like in front of your face like this? How uncomfortable that would be. I mean, I get it. The handles come off, but and then when they talked about the specs, that's when I got super skeptical. So they said it's an XR2 chip, but it's going to have a 4K 144 hertz panel in it. That hardware doesn't match up.
Yeah.
It just like that doesn't make sense. And it's
Well,
like,
they did say that they're using reprojection technology to make this happen. Where
Yeah,
they like
but
kind of save
do
every
you know what your
second
battery
frame.
life would be like?
Yeah, that's for sure. We have to see that, of course.
And then the battery's all in the front. There's no counterweight battery in the back.
Oh, actually there is. So here
Okay.
there's a counterweight battery in the
Okay.
back that adds to the battery that's in the device. So that's kind of a smart.
Okay.
Well done.
I mean
think.
that's a little bit of a savior there, but I don't know, man. Then think about how heavy this thing is going to be. I don't know. I'm so skeptical on so many levels. Like I feel like I don't think they have all the parts figured out yet. And to be saying parts at this part in the game is just more about like building hype. To be like, it's got a 4K screen, 144 hertz, it's amazing. It's like, well, what's gonna run 4K, at that refresh rate? What's your battery life gonna be like? That's the important stuff. At one point they said the largest battery possible, but then they showed a 5,000 milliamp hour battery when the Pimax got a 6400 in it. So I don't know. A lot of things just didn't make sense to me, and I would love to see them pull it off. Don't get me wrong. I don't care who the company is. I would love to see them pull it off. I'm just insanely skeptical.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Tetiana, what are your thoughts about the Portal?
Like I said at the beginning, when I was watching that presentation, I got to the part where the mighty morphin transformation started.
Oh, that was so funny, honestly speaking, right?
I got like my face just looked just like your face when you were streaming, because I literally just like went back to that moment, like I have to see his reaction. And already going, what? And I'm like, that's my reaction. I literally was sitting there with the same face, and I was wishing that I was live streaming that, because it
That
was
so
hilarious
funny.
when I was watching that. And it just, like you said, it kept going. At some
Yeah.
point I started getting overwhelmed. Like I started forgetting what I just watched.
Yeah.
There's so much more
I
coming. I'm
couldn't
like,
follow it. It
holy
is too
crap.
much information. Like what this thing can do.
Yeah, I was taking notes at first, like, oh, nice, handheld device, Android. Nice. Yes, it's really interesting. And then the VR morphing thing started, and then the docking station. And then they made VR into a flat screen, but you are still in VR, but it's on the flat screen. So it all just like too much. Too much. And
Yeah,
I caught myself on the thought that as I was watching it, I didn't really think that I was watching a presentation of a real product.
exactly.
I thought I was just watching a
First
tech
April.
dream.
I
Yeah,
thought like at some
someone's
point it was like, is it first
imagination.
April already?
Yes.
It's like it's
Yeah,
like what?
it
It had
all
the
just felt,
it
didn't
had
it?
the
Like, didn't
hallmark of like a tech startup selling hype, with lots of CGI. Because just think about it too. It's also going to be a Kinect.
it's so,
Who's making the
yeah.
software for this stuff? They're
Yeah,
showing you're
that
putting a
is the problem.
controller and a gun.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
kid with the machine gun in front of the TV. Like what? Which game is this?
Yeah, who's making
Who's
this
gonna make
software?
it? There's nobody. Honestly, this is really the main problem I see. Who is going to make software for it when a few people buy this? It's
No
not going to
one.
pay off. No one.
No.
So it has to be Pimax themselves that do a couple of games with it to show off. Yeah, it works, but that's it,
Yeah.
Cool.
right? That's it. Unfortunately.
So,
So yeah,
I'm with you guys. I'm like, man, this is so creative and so out of the box. All this Transformer stuff just seems like all in one, and you get your flat screen gaming, you get your VR gaming, you get your portable gaming, you get your, I don't know what else was it, was PlayStation, Xbox gaming, everything. But like, they are jumping from a product to product, don't they? And we keep saying that about Pimax when, like back when we were talking about Pimax Crystal, everything they packed in it, and they want to do a mixed reality faceplate on top of everything they've already promised. And there is a 12K that will be. A year ago, we were talking about it for the first time. 1 year since they had this
Right.
amazing presentation about 12K, and we were even then thinking that stop promising, we want to see the delivery, and we don't see 12K, but we see this Transformer.
And yeah, you're right. And
I'm
I totally,
sure it's gonna be
I've totally
super
not mentioned.
secure.
I've totally not mentioned everything because they have
No.
different kind of viewers. It's not just the viewer that we saw here. They have also like a Portal Social Edition, which has eye tracking and face tracking, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
have a Portal Horizon version, like which has like super wide FOV. So they have different kind of lenses as well,
Yeah, same
right?
technology
And
with like
eye
interchangeable
tracking
lenses.
and everything, and it's totally crazy. But the problem is who's going to make the software, even if that comes out. Yeah.
Even with like their 12K, okay, which sound like a very exciting headset. Let's forget about the extra bells and whistles that get ridiculous. But okay, you're gonna maximize my viewing experience, most pixels, widest, best colors, whatever. Cool, I'm down for it. What am I playing with that amazing new headset? I'm replaying Half-Life Alyx. I'm like PC VR isn't dropping new games right now, so it's only this enthusiast dream right there to buy one. It's I think they realized that too, so they just moved on to something new.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, well, it's still coming, right? The Crystal and 12K are still
Yeah.
coming. So they are on this roadshow, and they're even coming to here, to this place, right? To the MRTV headquarters, and they will bring the Portal and the Crystal, which I'm very much looking forward to try out, obviously, right? Like everyone, I'm going to make videos about it.
Mhm.
And so it's still happening. And but let me get back to the Portal, and let me also like try to see the other way around, like the positive parts, or what could actually work. So in general, I think this is a good idea. Not everything, but in general, I think that is doable. And in my opinion, this presentation was just so crazily over the top with too much stuff put into it that you couldn't take it seriously anymore. In my opinion, if they would have done the following, it would probably be a device that people could root for. Like if they would have just showed us the console, right? This console, this handheld console, and like one of the viewers. Just one.
Oh.
Just one. That's it. Just show the two things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. This is something that people enjoy, right? People want the Steam Deck. People want the Switch. These devices work well. And why not have an Android one? Why not? Like, I would probably buy it because I also like to play some Xbox games in my bed, but I don't want to be in front of the TV and I stream it to it. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a
Right?
niche use case.
And I don't think, no,
And-
honestly speaking, I think VR is the niche. I think this
Okay.
I think Steam Deck and stuff is not niche. It's like,
No, Steam Deck isn't, but that's
Right,
your
right.
entire Steam library.
agreed.
I love my Steam Deck.
I agreed. But so I think in general they will get people to back it for this device, for this console, for the handheld gaming console. So they are reaching like new target audiences with it, which are not us, not the VR enthusiasts. So people who want to have a nice handheld, they might back it for $299. And then, hey, okay, if I want to look into VR for $50 more, I can get that headset viewer. Hey, that is not a bad idea. So probably, yeah, there can be some experiences on it, or probably I have a gaming PC and then I can stream my PC VR as well. Obviously, you will be able to stream your PC VR library. This is not so bad, and it actually makes sense because they have these displays.
Components.
They
Yeah.
have the components, so why not make it? So it's not such a bad idea, honestly speaking. But with all that fluff on top of
Yeah.
it, with the Portal XL and all the different viewers, and then the Connect thing, that makes it crazy.
But you know, here at Pimax, we want to say sky's the limit, but we have no limits.
Yeah, right. And that's so sad. If it was much more toned down, we could take it more seriously, in my opinion. And
I
I'm sad
wish-
for that, you know?
I wish they stopped at the VR part, actually.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I was
Stop there.
No, but what
Stop.
you said, I thought they would add it. So because that was the part that made me go like, what? Like when they removed those controllers, put them in the VR controllers, turn this into a cardboard. I'm like, what are we
Yeah.
watching here?
Yeah, and
Right
I would've been
there,
like,
right there.
yeah,
You
Yes.
have a nice Android handheld device, which also turns into VR for a very reasonable price.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you want a handheld device, great. If you are not sure about VR, you can still give it a try because it's not that
Exactly.
expensive.
It's
That's
this is
it.
exactly
Yes.
that is like a great sales pitch, in my opinion, right? But then with everything on top, you can't just believe it. And then the cherry on top, this is a Kickstarter for a Pimax, which
Yeah.
had like they have made such a bad reputation for themselves because of their Kickstarter,
Well, they
because it took like
started as a-
years for them
Oh.
to send all the stuff out. They did send all the stuff out, but it took too long. So now all the people will remember that instead of moving away from that bad reputation Kickstarter, right? Matteo, what are your thoughts about Kickstarter?
Kickstarter,
I mean,
makes
them
it
being on
even
Kickstarter.
less legitimate
Mhm.
between their history and the fact that it's like, you came out with such bold claims, and now you're like, yeah, we just need money for it. That's it. We just need the money, and you're gonna get the product. It makes it even less believable.
Okay.
Like if they were there and really had like the proof, I think they could get money funding from somewhere else. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about the market.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards giving them the benefit of the doubt because they did start as a Kickstarter. This is something they know how it works. Something that actually did work for them because they became a much bigger company now than they were when they first were running it. I don't know. If they were really honest when they were saying that Kickstarter will help them to have a better communication with their backers to get more feedback from them about all these functions and new colors and do you want this and do you want that. So they did make a case for why they want a Kickstarter. Of course, they would have said it regardless of their true purpose, but I don't know. Am I naive for really wanting this thing to work for them? Because it's
I don't
just
think you're
so
naive for
creative.
wanting it. We all want it.
And I wanted to.
I
But, like-
think I think I'm a little jaded in my old age. I think that's one thing. I've seen enough BS for a lifetime. And we all definitely want it, though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having hope. Just I don't know. I just don't want to. I just don't think they can pull off everything they're saying. They'll do something for sure, but I doubt they will come close to everything they're stating.
Yeah, I also
They
don't
are
think so.
innovators, though. What they
I love
presented
it.
is like no one has come up with something like that. If anything, you can give them that. They are innovators in that regard. If it actually is going to ever come to life, we don't know that. But I applaud their creativity and out of the box thinking. If anything, that's everything we've got now. We don't have anything from them. That's the only thing we've got.
I also no, honestly, I really applaud them for like pushing the envelope, right? And doing things that other companies don't
Yeah.
try to do, like the wide FOV, right? Actually, the 8KX now, I think it's a good headset now after quite a few iterations. And I believe, yeah, people who want a big FOV headset, they can now go for the 8KX, really. Right. So yeah, that's a good thing. And I also hope they will succeed with this. I'm just wondering why this over the top crap. No, really. I think they could be way more successful if they wouldn't do these crazy things. And also, like for example, like one thing when they talked about the Kickstarter campaign and when they introduced it, actually in the video they make it look like we, the community, want a Kickstarter. Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember this. Let me just play this. Okay. A culture that reflects our customers will run as deep as our DNA. The more we all work together, the better our ecosystem and products will be. After listening to our user suggestions and feedback, we have decided to follow their will and use the Kickstarter platform to start a global pre-sale
Show me
for
that
Portal.
person. Show me those people.
Who?
The
No,
guy's
really.
name was Will that recommended it.
Yeah, the one guy. Yeah,
One guy named Will.
But
Yeah.
how can you write that stuff into this presentation? Like this is no one has asked for a Kickstarter. How can you write it into this kind of presentation? No, really, Matteo, I ask you now.
No,
How can you write this there?
I think there was a generation of BS, like that BS really worked for a long time. Because I don't want to get into this conversation, but there's a lot of entrepreneurs or these technologists who sold people on straight up BS for the longest amount of time, and it worked. And I think other people are trying to copy that. They understand hype works, and they're just trying to do that. And they don't really care if at the end of the day it works. They don't care if what they're saying is just straight, if they believe it or not. They're just saying, no, this is going to work. We say it, people will believe it. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. It's crazy. But yeah, as Sitsky says here in the chat, other companies are doing the same. Let's not forget the fake legs in Horizon. Right? Like when Mark Zuckerberg was showing off the legs in Horizon, hey, come on. There was all not real. There was all really bullshit. Right? It was like totally rendered before that show.
But
right?
He did
so they
have
do
a disclaimer at the very beginning of the show.
Right. Yeah, right.
Saying that this is stuff we expect to have.
Okay. At least they had the disclaimer, right? So they are on the safe side for that. But still, it's also bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, so they're all selling hype.
My
Pimax
goodness.
is not the only company that's doing it. They're all doing it.
Yeah.
What about
and
HTC?
Something, there is a place for it. It's like anything else. It's like thumbnails in our industry. It's like, well, you can cross the line and go too far with the thumbnail, but you need something special to it to pull some people in. So, and then people are like, oh, you clickbait, whatever. So like, yeah, there is a point where it goes too far, but you do need to push some boundaries. You do need to kind of jazz things up a little bit to get people interested. Excuse me. Otherwise, if you're just sitting there giving information, people find it bland. It's boring. So yeah, you gotta jazz things up for sure. But there's a line. Now, who's to say where that line really is?
Do you think that Pimax has crossed it? That was just fun.
This
fun
presentation is a little over.
Yeah. This was too much. Yeah. Do you also think so, Tetiana, for the presentation that it was too much? Or was it just? I mean, I had a great time. I loved it. Right, like the entertaining factor. But
It's different with them because we don't know what is the reality, what's fantasy with them. Like with Quest Pro or whatever was that presentation with Meta, during that presentation, there were already people who have tried it. And I was among them. I knew
Right.
that there is no full body tracking, like it was not there. And they were sitting there telling us that yes, we have it now. So I was like utterly shocked there. With Pimax, I mean, we have no idea. For all we know, it all could be a bogus or everything could be real. And maybe you will see it in a couple of weeks and you're like, this is all true. Everything is true. So
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to see that
the
device.
good thing is that we probably will not have to wait that long. If they do have a prototype that they will show you and it works,
They
then
will.
I
They will
mean,
show it to
there
me.
is
Yeah, very
very
soon.
little chance that they will get the money off the Kickstarter and then call it quits after having a prepared product. I don't think so.
No,
Um,
they have always. They did always send out their products that they have promised to people.
yeah,
So
it's not like you're spending money on Kickstarter and then Arapara is telling you, yeah, we have a standalone headset. You might never you might never see it though, but it is different. I'm actually looking forward to you testing it, and I don't know, maybe I will get it
Definitely.
tested if they come in my area. I don't
Pi-
know if they're coming to your area, Matteo, but
Pimax
this is
doesn't
the
like me too
key.
much. I mean, we talk, but I was not a fan of their 8KX. So they kind of get a little upset at me.
yeah, at me also at one point in time. That happens sometimes. Yeah.
I mean,
Anyways,
the user experience was frustrating, to say the least. There was
It
a lot
yeah,
of
was,
issues.
yeah,
It spazzed out on me. I had to update the firmware at one point. They gave me like broken instructions. It was
it was a
not user
nightmare.
friendly, and it's
It
not
was
like
so
it's
hard.
my first rodeo. The room's full of headsets. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know. It
right.
wasn't a
Yeah.
great experience. I was happy to put my index back on.
Yep. Software wise, they still have lots of things to do. Well, let's see how that goes. Yeah.
And that is, of course, something to think about with these new products they're promoting. Are they going to be just as hard to set up as 8KX was? Because
Yeah.
imagine spending, how much 8KX
Like
cost? Like over
$1,000,
$1,200.
$1,000.
$1,000 plus. Yeah.
So imagine spending that money, but then you have to learn all the technical aspects of setting it up because uh, on top of that, you need to have the technical knowledge to actually make each game work with it
Yeah.
perfectly. And there is a way to make the most out of the game, but you have to have a degree
Yeah.
to actually
But it's
You had a
but
degree in
honestly
optimization for
it
every
is
game you
it is
play.
better. It is I must defend Pimax here, but it is better now, really. So there's this Pimax experience, and then you can choose the games, and then there are already like the best
Yeah.
settings that you get
It
from the
was
cloud. So it's better now. It's really better now.
when they
So
gave me the headset, it was just coming out, the Pimax experience.
okay.
But yeah, it was, and I was just like, this is so annoying. Every game I go into, I got to change like 30 settings or just lower the FOV down the potato. Otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still a lot of tinkering. Also with the IPD adjustment, you have to
Yep.
know how to do it. So it is not yet the headset for all. Yeah. Anyways, I know that Matteo, you need to go now, right? So I
Yeah.
would let you go first now, and we'll still continue a bit, Tetiana. And yeah, so Matteo, thanks so much for joining
Thank you
us
for having
today.
me.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope my
Thank
kids weren't
you.
too loud during it. They were
No,
jumping up
we
and
totally
down like
didn't hear it.
I kept holding down the mute like a madman.
Okay, no. We totally didn't get it. So that
Okay,
was
good.
nice, and glad that you could, voice your opinion about the portal.
Yeah, hopefully we come back and I really hope Pimax shuts me up.
Yeah,
Or,
right.
gets me excited.
We'll see. Like I'm going
Yeah.
to try it out 23rd and 24th of November, and then I will let you guys
Cool.
know how it
All
works.
right.
At least
I'm looking
they
forward to it.
know that we're all supportive of them. We're all supportive.
Yeah,
We just want to
definitely
be
we are.
proven wrong.
like we're rooting for Pimax.
I'm
Exactly.
critical yet supportive.
Okay, cool.
But that's the whole
cool.
thing. Like I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it and then fix it. Then you'll have a great product.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
all people out there, if you want more Matteo 311, check out his YouTube channel at YouTube. Makes sense. Matteo 311, and also on Twitter. Matteo, thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
joining us.
Bye.
See ya. Yeah, great to have Matteo on the show.
Always great to have him.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
He
it's
has
good.
such
He has
unique perspectives on things,
opinions.
and
I like opinions. That is really cool. Yeah, we're not yet fully finished on the Pimax. Let's still continue to talk about the Kickstarter. I'm really wondering why they chose Kickstarter. So honestly, I do believe they could have a good product on their hands. I truly believe that it's a good idea to have a console, like a handheld console. Like I'm a fan of handheld consoles.
mm,
I like the concept. I still sometimes enjoy playing like pancake games. And yeah, why not have an Android device which has this kind of openness where you can play all kinds of stuff? Good idea, right? And I know that they have been developing this device for like 2 years. So it's not just some dream. The device is
mhm,
ready, right? The device is ready, and I will have it in my hands come 23rd of November.
mm.
And I'll also be able to try the VR part of it. So it is ready. So the question, when it's so ready, why go for Kickstarter, right?
Well,
Especially with their past. So what are your thoughts on this part?
all I can say is just going back to their presentation, the only real reason that they gave it, aside from you wanted it, you got it. We
Yeah,
literally maybe they
no,
talked to
nobody want a Kickstarter.
maybe they talked to a couple of people on Discord. I don't really know. There were people who were helping them develop their store that they have. I wasn't among those people, but apparently there were some users who were like really hardcore Pimaxians helping them with those things. So maybe they made the change. But if I remember correctly, I don't know if you remember that. So what he was saying in the presentation is that Kickstarter is going to allow us to have a more direct contact with our supporters, to get a more direct feedback about things they want to see in this headset. So even though they already have it, there are some things they might be tweaking with it. So one thing they mentioned was like, do you want to have different colors to it?
Mhm.
Do you want to have different memory capacity in
Right,
them, or
that's what he
something?
said. Like, yeah, but that
It-
doesn't make sense. They can get this
yeah,
information in other ways.
yeah, is that really that important or that crucial that the
No.
whole model of selling your product should be changed to Kickstarter? I mean, there's no way that they don't understand that there will be people who will have the exact same reaction that we are having right now on the podcast, and other people
Yeah.
saying that Kickstarter, that's an instant skip, we're not gonna do this again. There's no way that they didn't realize that this could be one of the outcomes and
Yeah,
reactions.
yeah, right. But that is for us, for the hardcore VR enthusiasts who know their history, right? We are
Hmm.
like a small group of people, honestly speaking. But
Hmm.
with this device, they will appeal to much bigger groups of people, people who just want a cool handheld that can do stuff. And actually, you know what? If if I don't know about Pimax, and if I just see this presentation and it tells me, hey, I can play my games on this device, and it has a 4K screen as compared to the 720p screen of the Steam Deck, I will feel
Mm.
exactly the same way how I felt in the first Pimax Kickstarter years back when they told me, "Hey, you just right now you have an HTC Vive. It has FOV from 110, and I give you 180 and much more
Yeah.
resolution. Yeah, 4K." That was exactly the same
Hmm.
thing, and we were like all totally hyped. And I could see this happen now as well for people who now enjoy the Steam Deck, yeah, or their Switch. Like, yeah, it is good, but yeah, they've played it now for like years for the Switch, and now they want the next bigger thing. And then they see that Kickstarter, and I think it's friggin' appealing. Honestly, I really think it is friggin' appealing to them, and they will feel like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to back this for, I don't know, like let's say $450. I get the device, I get a headset, I can play, I don't know, Half-Life Alyx for the first time. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this could be a super successful Kickstarter. What do you think, Tetiana?
It's all the variety of all in one box kind of a thing that they're selling, because we all know like the struggle of companies trying to push the headset to go outside of this niche group and into mainstream is really, really difficult. And Meta is probably the only one that managed to make a break so successfully with their cheaper headset. um And Pimax understands that with all the headsets that they've been releasing, none of them were really budget mainstream consumer kind of a headset. They all went for above $1,000, and it's always like a struggle to find the finances to invest in it, and then like the setup issues is really difficult. So it's really like a niche product that only someone who understands how the value of VR and how to set it up would enjoy. And with this presentation, they were promoting it as a like mainstream device that
Yes.
every household will have, because it's a media center, it's a handheld device, and it's a VR for you to try as well. So I completely agree. Like, I was bedazzled by the plethora of all the functionalities that they are promoting there. I was overwhelmed, and it's kind of like what we do, right? We watch these presentations, we pull them together, we deliver them, we talk about them. I can imagine how just a regular user would be overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. Who has never heard about them? Like, who?
Yes, if we were like, we are in this together, this is what we do, and someone who's never heard of it probably wouldn't even have enough time to question it. They would just be like, it's like they're trying to cover them with everything so that they don't have enough time to kind of put their head above the water and think like, what actually just happened? This is so much. I want it all, because it's such a great deal to get all of it.
Of
So I don't
course,
know.
like if
Maybe that's why they went
if I would
overboard.
just like watch this presentation, or like they will like put it into like a 5-minute video probably for the Kickstarter, right? Without all the fluff, just the nice renders. Yeah, I want that. Like, I'm a techie. I love technology. I love my Switch, and I love all the stuff that I have here. It's a dream job, right? So I'm asking right now the people who are watching this right now. Hello, everyone. Do you think the Portal Kickstarter will be successful? Not asking if you will back them, right? It's not like, hey, will you put your money into that? I'm asking, do you think this will be successful? Yes, it will be appeal to flat gamers, or nope, it will not succeed. So just give us your opinion.
Too.
Yeah,
I voted too, and
so we need more votes. We only have 40 votes. So do you think this will be a successful Kickstarter? Not asking if you are going to back it, but will it appeal to other people? Yes or no? So let us know.
So what I think so far about is that, because, like you said, there are people who know the history of Pimax and know kind of all the implications of Kickstarter campaigns. They might not be willing to back it. But then we're again talking about mainstream users who will be so bedazzled by all the news that'll go ahead and put their money into it just to get something like this, maybe without realizing that it could be years before they get it.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be a success.
Honestly, I also think it's going to be a success. No, really. I like it's a funny thing to say, but I really believe this is going to appeal to people. Right? I really think it's a good idea. Like the thing, like, yeah, flat gaming is bigger than VR. Really, it is. It is like a huge industry. And actually these little devices, they are so successful. The Switch is still selling hotcakes, even though it's like an old hardware, right? It's like it's not powerful at all. The Steam Deck is selling like hotcakes as well. And I played it. It's like amazing. I love it that you can bring all of your Steam library everywhere. It is cool. So why not an Android device that can do it? I want it.
So with the Steam, but they did it so differently. Just thinking back of it, they literally just released one device. It was just one handheld device. Everybody was looking forward to it, and they ran out of stock, and everybody was like waiting for it for months and months. They didn't have to come up with all of this Mighty Morphin Transformers,
Yeah, exactly.
I just keep thinking about it.
Just stop at one point. Like, it seems like it's like, no. For what reason do you need to make even now the bigger version, the Portal XL? For what reason? There's no reason. Like, you just be happy if you can make this one product. Why complicate it? Why complicate it by putting the Portal XL, where you have to put the stuff into
to make it a bigger one,
the bigger one, and then it has a 60 Y-gig module, and
so basically the small one is just Android games, right? Just for Android games.
Yes.
and streaming also. I kind of get confused because I know
it's
small ones just Android games.
I think
Then
so, yeah.
you put it in the bigger one and you can stream Steam games or Xbox or PlayStation. So it turns into a Steam Deck competitor in a way.
Yeah,
Because when I was
if you have that little device, that little computer which has
yeah.
the AMD control.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
because
they lost me there.
at the very beginning, I was so
They lost
invested.
me.
At the very beginning, I'm like having all this thought, like, oh, okay, so we're watching this presentation
Yeah.
about the tiny little device, but it is not a Steam Deck competitor because it's only Android, so it can play Steam VR games. So it's nice because it's like filling out this gap, and how they were comparing it to playing on the mobile phones.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. This part was still good.
Yeah, and that's like
Yeah,
how they're
32
feeling it.
buttons.
But then they started kind of moving into the direction of competing with Steam Deck, and I'm like, oh boy, don't
Yeah,
do
that's
this, because Steam Deck is brilliant, and I
Yeah, but
don't think that you can do it
right.
better because of everything else you're packing into it.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
insane.
It was just packing too much stuff into it. Where if they had stopped there, everything would be fine, right? Oh, it's so crazy. And because also with every new hardware they introduce, they make it more complicated for themselves. It feels like they're setting themselves up for failure, right? Because
Mm.
people will want that thing, perhaps. Then probably I want that bigger thing, yeah, but it's not going to come out. Like they had been talking about that YGig module for YGig
Mhm.
for the Pimax headsets for years. I think it was
Mhm.
even in the first Kickstarter, the YGig
Oh,
module.
was it?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so, or something like it. Or it has been talked about for years, and it never came out, right? So that is the problem. So like Artful has just put it very nicely. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And it
Yeah.
seems like they are overcomplicating things. And just like what we just said, with that Kinect style of things, where there's like people like this kid with that machine gun in front of the TV. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. Who's going to make that
Yeah.
machine gun, and who's going to make the games for it? So no, it is not going to happen.
Yeah. And is their team even big enough to be sustainable like that, to take care of so many products? Are they going to be continue supporting
don't know.
8KX? And then there's Crystal, 12K, Portal. And each one of them has its own little components that are being developed.
Yeah,
the
their
mixed
own
reality
problems.
chipset,
Exactly.
the eye tracking, the face tracking.
Yeah.
You don't even realize like how many little components there are in there. I'm talking about like the viewers. Like, this is crazy. Pimax is not Meta. They don't have like departments and departments and departments.
Exactly. And
who would take care of all that?
Even for Meta, who have just like launched that Quest Pro, which has eye tracking and face tracking, like nobody is supporting it. Not even VRChat is supporting that right now. And that is Meta, the biggest company. So do you believe when you buy that Portal Social Edition with eye and face tracking that anyone is going to support this hardware? No. Right?
Yeah.
No. There is not going to be VR chat that you can use then with the face tracking.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
So that is so unfortunate, and I really think, why is this happening? And with the Kickstarter as well, it just takes even more legitimacy. Oh, that's a complicated word for me to say. Legitimacy out of it,
It's
right?
okay.
Because if you like put your money into it, it's not like you bought the product, right? It's like you support the idea, and if you're lucky, then you will get it. And I do believe that Pimaxians who support this, they will get the product, but when, right? So it would be, if they want to go away from that negative public opinion about them that they garnered with that first Kickstarter, they should not do a second Kickstarter. They should just sell it as a product. Like, okay, we are ready. We have now, I don't know, 20,000 pieces of Portal, and you can buy them now. If you're lucky and if you are in the first 20,000 who buy that, great. Then probably it's sold out after, I don't know, after one day. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
20,000 happy people. The rest,
could
like,
totally
oh
do
no,
that.
why did I not buy it?
Yeah, they could totally do that. But then going back to your road shows, you will see both
I'm looking forward to it.
Crystal and the Portal.
Yes.
Right? They confirmed that both will be there.
Yes. It's great. And like normal people will see it, right? It's not
So
just me, it's like people who have signed up to it. It's amazing. So we're
yeah.
going to have lots of opinions, and I will try to catch all the opinions of the people. So if they want, they can go in front of the MRTV camera here. It's going to be fun.
So
Yeah.
tell us more about it. Like, will you have the absolute freedom to test it for as much and as long as you want,
For me, I
or
don't
will
know.
they be
Like
controlling kind of that
I don't
experience?
honestly. I'm just like giving them my venue here. I'm giving them my
Hmm.
venue here, and people could sign up for it. And I'm like taking care of like having like 3 PCs here with 4090s, and the
Hmm.
rest is going to happen how it's happened. Yeah, I will obviously just do my thing and film everything and put it out. So
Hmm.
yeah, we will see how it goes. And these are not final units, of course. The hardware seems to be finished, and the software is still ongoing. So I think it's great that Pimax is doing that. I think it's fantastic that they're doing this roadshow and showing that to people. I think it's great that they do it.
It is. It's much better than just hiding behind a Kickstarter and asking for money at the promise of 3D rendered images
Yeah,
and
you're right.
videos.
You're right.
But if it is going to be a demonstration, we were talking about content. So there's
Yeah.
going to be this handheld device, the VR visor, and that dock to play some flat games, kind of like in a 3D VR games on a flat screen mode
You will be able to
on
play
TV.
VR
So
with it, yeah.
so maybe you will see some sort of a new content there, even though they didn't really promote any games during their presentation. That's the thing. So it looks like they will be jumping off the games that already exist instead of showcasing. I don't think there was anything built for this device, not yet, at least.
I have no idea. Well, they do have the Pimax store right now. There are a couple of games on it, not so many. So probably we will see some VR games from the store working on it. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
excited about this. I'm excited about the roadshow. There's like 44 people can attend the roadshow here in Dortmund in my headquarter, and like 42 spots are taken. I think there's only 2 spots left, so people want to see it. It's going to be really exciting. I think only 2 spots left, so you can try to grab them if you have time on the 23rd or 24th. So this is going to be super exciting.
Hmm.
Wow. So yeah. Wow, I'm also looking forward to try the Crystal, right? That new headset of them,
Um,
the new platform.
yes,
Oh,
yes. That is. I don't know. Maybe it's because it was before this presentation, back when things were so simple, when
yeah,
we
yeah,
just had one headset to look forward to. But that headset does seem more real to me, just, based on that presentation, everything we know about it kind of set my mind to already like testing it out and seeing it. I wonder if they will come to CES
yeah.
next
They
year.
will. Yeah, for sure. So
Um,
that's gonna be
so
exciting.
so probably
So
both Crystal and Portal should be there
for
as well.
sure. And they have already said there's going to be more headsets. They have already, yeah, said it's going to be, a handful. So
Man,
we can expect more. Yeah, it's
man, I don't
crazy.
know.
It's always the same thing. And yep. So
I don't remember such a wave of products, even from them. I mean, they did overpromise before, but it was never in such a huge volume. And Kevin did warn us. He said
yeah,
that there will be multiple
yes,
products coming
exactly.
before 12K, so we didn't we didn't take
Yeah,
him seriously. He was not getting around.
yeah. I think like the people that we know and deal with, like Kevin and Sweeviver, they are fantastic guys. I know them personally, and I think that also they themselves sometimes are overwhelmed with the decisions that come from the Chinese headquarter.
Mm.
They are just as level-minded as we are, and I think they also, yeah, have their opinions sometimes when it comes to what they have to then sell the public.
Why
I'm
did you
like,
sense something? Did you
no, I'm
sense
not.
something from
I
talking
I
to him?
just from the past, from the past, I know that yeah, it's just like I feel for them, that they have
Mm.
to sell the decisions that are made in the headquarter in China, and I'm sure for some of the decisions, it's not what they think is the best way to go forward.
maybe, but
Yeah,
I do remember them being like super excited about the stuff that they're working on.
sure. I think,
Like
of
we,
course, they have great products as well sometimes, right? So, oh my
yeah.
goodness,
So
it's crazy. It's just crazy. It never, let's say that this at least, it never gets boring with Pimax, and I love the presentation for entertainment purposes.
meanwhile, HTC
Oh yeah.
tweeted
Oh,
yet another
oh my god. Oh my
picture
god. Oh my
of
god.
something that looked like almost like an Oculus logo. It's
Exactly.
just
Let me find that.
as ambiguous as the first one
Let
was.
me. I totally
While
forget about that because I
while
didn't. I
Pimax
totally didn't take it
released
serious.
yeah, while Pimax released like 2 new headsets, and we've heard from PlayStation VR and we've heard from Apple. HTC just keeps releasing ambiguous pictures, and like I read, it was a tweet, so I obviously was reading comments, and everybody's like, "Just show it to us already! Just
Oh
enough
yeah.
of this. This looks like a back like a
Yeah. Could
it looks
be
like a
like.
back of the Elite strap on Quest, to be honest."
Yeah. Right. Right. But yeah, it's so strange. It was totally not a topic for the show. It's so good that you
No.
brought this up. Because I totally like I have shut up with this kind of thing. I cannot like entertain this kind of marketing because it's
we
just
don't
drag.
we don't we don't support that. We're
No,
not going to
no,
promote it, but then we
no.
promote it anyway.
Yeah, right. Because it keeps on dragging and dragging on. I cannot like entertain it. It's like it's so sad. Like no, I give us a presentation like Pimax did. Like you know what? I
Mhm.
totally prefer what Pimax did compared to this. Like what is this? I don't want one picture of something that I don't know what it is every couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And you totally cannot tell what this is. Yeah, this could be, what could it be? It could be like the back padding or
Yes, it
what?
looks like that. It looks like the back padding, and they already said that, small form factor, that they're going small. So everything
Yeah,
we know is that they're working on some kind of a compact headset. But Vive Flow was a compact headset. It was not a
but it
headset, it
sucked.
was more like glass. It did, but the marketing was the same.
It sucked, honestly. It's bad. It was bad. And then if you would take that picture that they have tweeted, and if you would like brighten it up, then you would get this game changer. Like it literally says game changer there in the top.
Is it really like
Yeah.
it's there hidden?
Yes.
It's not, someone didn't just put it
No.
on there? Oh
No.
my god, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's like, hey,
Oh.
it's like a little Easter egg that you will totally find when you brighten up that picture.
They
Yeah,
need
I'm not
to. Their
sure.
marketing team,
What do
their
you
marketing
think?
team is creative.
Yeah, yeah, but
What do
no,
I think
honestly,
about this headset?
yeah. What do you think? Do you think that whatever they're going to show is going to be a game changer?
Yes. It's going to change everything. Oh, honestly, I don't know. I don't
I
even
want to
know
believe,
what
just like with the
direction.
portal. I want to believe. I love this industry. I want it to be a game changer.
Okay, so what can they do that they haven't screwed up already? So they have the little glasses that they use for meditation, getting away from your kids. And they had a standalone headset, right? That was more of a more for hardcore gamers. Then they had a tethered headset. I'm talking about Focus 3, and what was the other one?
Focus 3, yeah,
HTC
and then
Focus 3 and
Vive Pro 2.
yeah. So could they be actually working on a portable budget standalone headset to rival with Quest 2 and Pico?
No, because budget and HTC doesn't work well with each other. Since they are a company that cannot like subsidize the price, since they are not like a very wealthy company like Pico or like Meta. So no, I don't think they can give us like a cheap price. Like I had already like given them my fantastic idea that they should have some kind of like model where people have to subscribe to VivePod Infinity, like a Netflix
Mhm.
model, right? They do have it already, and make this a bit more expensive. I don't know, dollars per month, and then you can play all the games that you want on that new device, and then have the hardware cost $299, right? Because you have this 2-year plan for Viveport Infinity, so somehow they would let the users subsidize it, just how you buy a mobile phone. I don't know if it in the States is the same, but in Germany, if you buy a mobile phone, probably you have to pay like, I don't know, 10 euros, but then you have to pay like 40 euros monthly to subsidize that. So yeah, it could work like this.
Well, maybe
I
that's
would
what the
do it.
picture is about. Maybe maybe it's a new headset that supports it or something.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know. But I just don't know when are they finally gonna think that this is the time to reveal it? Are they waiting for Christmas? Like the holiday season? They think that everybody's gonna rush and buy their headset for Christmas presents and
Yeah, but
and
then
stuff.
you should really start to show it off now, right?
I think
Because
it's coming soon. I mean, it can take forever.
but okay, yeah, but it's the time is now, really, because people are now either they are buying the Pico 4 if they are in a country where you can buy it, right? Or probably they do buy the Quest Pro, I don't know, or they go for the Quest 2, right? It's still being sold, right? It's not a bad headset. Or they are like saving for the PSVR 2, right? So no, you
Yes.
must don't HTC, if you're watching this,
Don't
please
wait.
stop showing us one picture every 3 weeks or 1 month. It's no, like I wouldn't have talked about it now if you would not have mentioned it,
We
right?
would have, yeah, we
For
would be able
reasons.
to talk about it for 3 weeks already. Because last time, I mean, one of the previous episodes, we mentioned their very first screenshot, and now we do it again. So instead of talking about some BS pictures, we could be actually talking and promoting their new headset. So
Exactly.
think about that, HTC.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Please do it. So for the poll that I started like a few minutes ago, 21
Oh
minutes
yeah.
ago, is like, do you think the Portal Kickstarter will be successful? And for yes, it will appeal to flat gamers, 41%. So 41% is not bad. And but 59% say nope, it will not succeed. Okay. So the majority thinks no, but the thing is, you guys are all
Yeah.
like, we know
You
that.
know what's what. You know what's happening. You will not
Yeah,
be victims of that.
yeah,
But
because you guys know the history, but yeah, other people don't know. So I still think it could be a success, especially if now on that road show they show it to me and others, and the hardware is good, right? It can like if it looks good, and the VR also works. I truly believe this could be a successful Kickstarter, and especially then if they succeed at delivering it. Yeah, I really root for Pimax. I'm just questioning why that over the top presentation and these over the top ideas. I think most people, right, would sympathize with them. If
yeah,
they,
I'm with you. It's
right?
really exciting, and we love
Yeah.
this kind of excitement in VR. We love seeing new players or old players coming up with more creative ideas if they work. And this product might, it looks like something that would bring a completely new direction to how VR kind of plays out with flat screen. I mean, like I said, it is a very creative idea. It's just the way they're doing it is a little bit shady, and just based on everything, it's very overwhelming, and it must be overwhelming for them too to take care of all these different products
Yeah, it's
and
like
try to get funding for them deliver.
it's like
Messy.
yeah, that's the problem. Like they already how to say that, they have their hands full with Crystal and
Yeah,
and
they
the
must
12K
be.
QLED. Like it's like tough to handle this. It's like they're
Yeah, it
juggling with
must
this,
be.
but now they put another juggling ball there.
Unless they're like, we nailed this crystal thing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
perfect. It's perfect. What we
Right.
have so much time. What
Yeah,
are we
yeah,
gonna
exactly.
do now?
Yeah,
Let's
that
create this. Like,
that's
is
how
it
it
really like
feels.
that?
It's like
That would be amazing if they're
yeah,
really these genius like creators,
right.
innovators that made Crystal an ideal headset. They already had 12K. Like, we got this.
You're right.
Let's take on a new project. Come on, bring it up. Bring it up.
Exactly. Like this is not enough for us, right? It's like in the beginning of the presentation or another presentation, they said like, okay, we have to climb this mountain, and with a 12K, now we have like 70%. But you know
Mhm.
what? Let's take another backpack because it's too easy for us to climb that mountain. Now we have the portal backpack as well.
Yeah.
So why?
Does it sound like, when they're saying we're using or reusing the same components we use for the headset? It's almost like they're recycling. Like, oh, okay, we have this component. What
Right.
can we do with it? Can we create a new product with the same component? And then they just put on like, the controllers to make it a held device.
Yeah,
It's like they're
right.
recycling the stuff that they're creating for headset because they know it's going to take them longer to deliver the 12K. So they created something in the middle. But if it's really an afterthought, then just how good can it be? Oh,
It's
I don't
like it's
know.
like wow,
So many thoughts.
it's crazy. I would love to know how these meetings go, when they come up with these ideas, how is it, like, okay, well, we have all these parts, what else can we do with it?
Yeah, what can
It's
we
like
do with
I
all of
would love to be in those meetings, and
it?
like I would
Must
love
be
to,
really fun, yeah.
you know,
How they come up with these decisions.
I would love to see like Kevin's and Martin's face when they are in these meetings, and when the Chinese people then tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do, and now tell them, you know, you know, t- tell them about it. Oh my
We're
god.
innovators. Let's innovate together.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
But
But
it's
it
fun
never
times. Fun times.
it must be fun times, at least for us now, like talking about it and watching those over the top presentations. Just like, yeah, I wish, I really hope they succeed, and I really want this to become a successful product, right? Like, really, I'm rooting for them, and I'm looking forward to that product. But yeah, I will simply capture what people say about it, like unfiltered, right? So it's gonna be
Mhm.
fun to watch that
Yeah.
play out. So I'm like rooting for you guys, Pimax.
Look forward to it.
Exactly. So lots of exciting things are going to happen in this month. Yes, right. Okay, cool, Tetiana. That was an amazing podcast. We have reached the 2 hours mark, and I believe that our viewers and listeners enjoyed that podcast a lot, right? If you really did, people out there right now, the 185 who are watching this, why don't you all give this a thumbs up? Because I simply believe that must be entertaining to listen to us. Like, for me, it's entertaining to be part of this show. So I really
Oh,
hope that this kind of feeling gets across to you out there. If it does, give it a thumbs up right now. I want to see more thumbs up because we don't have enough of those thumbs up yet. And if you are listening to this later, it would be amazing if you could also show your appreciation for us sitting down here for 2 hours by giving this a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. And simply do it now. Take out your iPhone or iPad, find the podcast app, and give this a 5-star review if you feel you have been entertained and informed in the last 2 hours. And also, one more thing that I would like to ask you, like, if you know somebody who is excited about VR, just tell them about this show. Just do this mouth to mouth thing. It will work amazingly well for this podcast. So yeah, just tell one friend, one VR friend about the show. I'm sure they will tell you, hey, um Ludovico Moriale, thank you for telling me about the show. This was the best tip that I've got in a while. That would be amazing. Mouth to mouth. Do it. Exactly. So that's everything that we got for the show. Tetiana, thank you. As always, it has been amazing to do this show with you. And also thanks to Matteo, who had to go a bit earlier. I love the show.
Yeah, it
Right?
was
Did you
really fun
enjoy?
discussing it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh my
Like all of
God.
it.
I
It's
needed to
good.
get this out of my system because I was watching there alone, his presentation, like we have to discuss it. And Matteo, by the way, was the same way. He's like,
Yeah.
we have to get together on the show to discuss this freaking thing. So he
Right.
took initiative there. I'm glad he did.
Exactly. Yep. So that's everything that we got for this week. And yeah, we're looking forward to talk with you next week. Until then, bye bye.
Bye.
Great. Yep. Loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it was just too exciting of a topic, right? So wow, great show.
Yeah, we don't always get exciting weeks like this one. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
quiet, but
Yeah,
in
this one
these
was
in
this one
this
was good.
this
Did you
crazy
already
one.
you have not yet done a video about Portal on your channel, right, Tetiana?
Not yet. It's so much to process. I've
Yeah,
realized that it's gonna take me longer than I initially thought after I got everything. But I do have some briefs. They probably sent you some as well.
yeah,
Kind of like a better compiled,
right,
summary of everything they did. So I'm working through that. It's also nice to kind of talk it through with you and Matteo. So I
right. Get some
definitely
more
will be
ideas,
posting.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, his perspectives. I definitely will be compiling, putting together my own kind of summary and thoughts about this headset. Uh, I'll try to give it like a little bit more thought, and I might even reach out to them with a couple of questions. We'll see.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming because again, I looked up and nobody is covering it at all. Like
Yeah,
you're the
right. So
only one
I
who
was
who
so
covered it.
surprised by this. This is like a great topic, and like I put the video out and directly number 1 from 10. You know, YouTube tells you like how successful is that video that you're doing, right? And yeah,
Oh, compared to your own videos?
compared to my
Yes.
own
Yeah,
videos,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
1
Yeah.
of 10. Yeah, yeah.
It was the
It's an
same.
exciting topic. Like, why is no one else covering it?
It was the same for me when covering the crystal video, because for
Yeah,
some
right.
reason crystal also, people just not interested in Pimax for some reason. And
Okay,
this is even more exciting because it's brand new. We didn't know anything about it. Crystal, there have been talks for a while, so
right.
there's definitely going to be a roundup of that as well. Oh man,
Yeah.
this might
So
be something big.
I truly think this is good and interesting content. And
Mhm.
okay, if nobody else covering it, yeah, like I'm all in. I'm there. Oh wow, definitely, yeah, right. And yeah, you should do it too. I think it's interesting
I will.
content, and people will be interested in it, and especially how it's going to play out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of you out there who have not yet subscribed to Disco VR, Tatiana's channel, do it now, right? Like, come on, she's great, obviously, as you can tell, and your videos are so good, like so
Thank
well
you.
done. So
Thanks
people
so
like
much.
subscribe to Tatiana now, right?
Thanks. Yeah. And yeah, so I spent yesterday doing that full body tracking video. So I was
Oh
excited by
yeah,
that. And I thought, okay, I will leave the Pimax thing for the weekend when I have the time to just spend on it without being distracted by work or anything. So yeah, more
right.
fun content's
I'm
coming.
looking forward to see a video about
Uh,
that. When I was making my video, I was like, again, I was cutting like all the fluff out, and then I
mhm.
just had those renders in it, and then it didn't seem so crazy anymore.
Oh yeah. It was still a long video. I think
It
your
was
video
still
was
a
like
long
18
video,
minutes
yeah, and
long.
yeah, it was, yeah, yep, right. But yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, if they would still have cut 50% out, it would have been much better. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anyways, anyways, yeah, it was great to talk with you. And dear all out there, that's it. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Tetiana, to Matteo, to MRTV, obviously, as well. And that's everything that we got for this week. See you next week. Until then, bye bye.
See ya.